Oh yeah, he has a beautiful song. We actually like it here. And if I can give you a bit of information, Tukuza Crew is working on a routine for that song, aren't we?
Yes.
Yes. Wow. And so Kroba and myself are working on a routine. And by the time it's done, it's gonna be our signature look.
Yes.
Yeah, we dress up and akuna kwa we have to do a fantastic routine. And as promised, the lovely Sally Mahihu is here. She's a lady I have watched and admired for the last few months, and I'm so glad she could make it, Sally. Yeah,
thank you. Welcome home.
Yeah, give her a bow. Give her
the Chinese bow.
Yes, I received it. Thank you so much.
Kroba does the best bow ever.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. She's just kidding you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and she's back. And Sally, I'm so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Some of the feedback, and I was telling you, someone is already saying, I want to know how to pick a husband. My notebook and my pen are ready. Teach me, teacher. Okay?
Yes.
And when I say, I'm looking, I want to know. I'm locked. I'm not leaving my seat. I want to know.
That's
so
good.
First, tell us who you are.
All right. Thank you. First of all, Kendi, thank you for having me. Thank you, DJ.
Karibu
thank you for the Tukuza Crew. I watch you when I can,
and
you're doing a good job.
Now, thank you.
Yes, amen. My name is Sally Mahihu. I am a lawyer by profession for the last 28 years or so.
Wow.
I am married for also 28 years. I started practicing law.
She looks young, eh?
I started practicing law when I just got married. I studied the law in the UK. I did my law degree, and then I did my master's there. Then I came home, I got married. That year I graduated, and I settled down in Mombasa first, and then now we're both Mombasa and Nairobi. I am born again for the last 22 years. I have a wonderful husband, a good, solid man, and I have 2 adult sons, 25 and 23.
Wow.
Both have graduated by the grace of God. We thank God. And both are now working. One is going to do an MBA in the UK in September next month, and the other one is working. So we give God all the glory for my family. Thank God for that. Yes.
And I like that you're seasoned. You're not young. You have walked the path. So you're speaking.
I have walked life. Yes, I've lived life. I'm not as young as you think. But I'm told ladies don't tell their age. You know, there's a time I used to tell everybody my age. And then my friend says, stop it. Don't tell them. Let them guess. So I have lived life. I've walked. I've had a good career, a good walk with the Lord. I am a co-minister with Reverend Teresia Wairimu.
That's why you fellowship.
She is my spiritual mother, my mentor. She has carried me under her wings. She has sat at her feet, and she has taught me so much. And I just want to give her a lot of honor and respect this morning.
Fantastic.
Yes.
So do we. We love her here.
She's wonderful.
Yeah. So tell us, Sally, where do we start? I mean.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
So, Kendi, thank you. This topic is definitely necessary. I've had a lot of questions. Now, as you know, I do the Seasoned Woman program. Now, and it's to the woman in the marketplace. And I reach out to the woman in the marketplace and I provoke them to, first of all, discern your purpose, your calling. What has God called you to do? And in the midst of all that, so that once you discover your purpose and you align yourself to that purpose and that place of assignment in the marketplace, and you begin to influence it positively, so that you become a voice in that place, you become a stakeholder in that place and a policy maker for a better nation and a better society. We go through topics, we go through issues that are relevant, because no matter how high you get up in the corporate ladder or in the political sphere or in the media, how your career progresses, how you're fulfilling your assignment, the issue of relationships is crucial. You can't ignore it.
And women are very relational.
They're very relational, so we can't ignore that factor. There are some who have tried and said, I don't need anybody, I don't need to be in any relationship, I'm fine by myself, but it doesn't work. Because I think God intended us to be in relationships. Now, today we're not talking about women-to-women relationships, what I call your 7 Spice Girls, because I've written an article on that in the current edition of the True Love magazine. Today, let's talk about the woman-man relationship, because no matter how high you get up in the corporate ladder or in the marketplace or in the pulpit, wherever you are, relationships have power. They have an impact on your life. And when it's not going right or you haven't chosen right, it will affect you. Your ability to fulfill your call and your purpose will be affected by a bad relationship or bad relationship choices. So I talk to girls and women, even those who are already committed in relationships, and we analyze what do you look for? What are the issues? What are the red flags? What are the factors that you need to look at, and before you get into it, even if you're in it, what do you look out for and try and work out? I am pro-relationships. I am pro-marriage. I have a good marriage by the grace of God. I deal with a lot of clients in my office who come with marital issues, and always,
as a lawyer,
I do that. And a lot of the times I'm into how can we find a solution? Could it be that bad?
That's what rushed for a divorce.
I don't rush into divorces. In fact,
even if it'll make you money.
Oh, no. In fact, that's what now makes a difference when you're born again. When you know that each person who walks through your door into your law firm is there as an assignment. I feel responsible for how I'll handle their case. So when it comes to family issues, whether it's custody, maintenance, or marital, I don't rush into it, no matter how much money is in it. I want to understand from the couple. Normally, I tell the lady, sometimes men come as my clients, and I say, go and bring the other person. Even I know there's a lawyer on the other side. Before we rush into issues of fighting in court, bring your lawyer if you've already engaged lawyers. If you haven't, come the two of you. I'm a married woman. I've lived life. Let's hear this issue that is disturbing you. Surely we can resolve it, you know. So what I find is I advocate reconciliation. Sometimes it's a case of such serious abuse or domestic abuse and violence, it's beyond. Sometimes you can tell, seriously, this can't work.
It's a risk.
And it was a mistake in the first place. They saw the red flags, they ignored them. And of course, I'm not irresponsible to tell you go back to where your husband is beating you or bashing you and destroying you. So I'm very discerning in those areas. So when we talk, Kendi, about issues to look for in relationships, from my experience, what I've heard, people I've interviewed, people I've talked to, clients I've talked to, the issue, let's say number one, and I always say, don't bash the man. Don't bash the man. Don't criticize men and hit at them and speak evil of them. And these are our brothers. They are our sons. They are our fathers. That man you may be criticizing could be my brother, my son, my father. So that's not the idea as women who are born again, as people who are born again. We look at the issue. We bash the issue, not the man. We thresh the issue, not the man.
Bash the issue, not the man.
No. Okay. These are ours. They are our people. We are in it together. Normally, we're all born again. So how are you bashing your brother? You know, how are you bashing people in your life? So I don't encourage that. I don't speak evil of my husband. I don't go, if I have an issue, I go to trusted mentors and friends. And again, I said, you select few. You don't go and tell everybody your business. I've chosen carefully, and I've asked myself, is she for us as a couple? Because again, I don't go to someone who's just interested in me, and then she'll tell me, leave that guy, he's useless, what? I want to go to someone who loves both of us, someone who's committed to our relationship, somebody who wants it to work. And they will critically look at me and tell me, Sally, there you're being foolish. There you're being silly. Come on. He couldn't have done that. Or even if he did, how can we deal with it? What caused him to do that? So it's a balanced friends who minister to you about your relationship. And then I ask myself, if I come to you, do you have a solution for me or not? I will only come to you if I believe you have a solution. If you're older than me in marriage, if you're my spiritual mother, so you have a spiritual answer. If you're older than me in marriage, like an aunt who have been there before, you've done that, so you have solutions for me. But be careful, ladies, about rushing to everybody, criticizing him, speaking evil of him because you're angry that day. You're going to live with that man. You look foolish, because you'll go back and you continue to live with that man. So how does it look? You know, you've already torn him in our eyes. In fact, I tell people, don't tell me too much. Don't tell me so much that when I meet him, I'm so prejudiced. You've already told me so much negativity. Even clients, when they come, I'm like, wait, please don't tell me the gory, dirty details, because I don't want to be prejudiced against him as I seek a solution. You get me? So what I would say, ladies, girls who are not yet married, number one, you're either single by choice. I have friends who have categorically stated, I am single by choice. Don't help me get a man. Don't introduce me to your friends. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't feel sorry for me. Don't hook me up. I have chosen this path. Either because they've been in a marriage and maybe it didn't work, and they're at some place in their calling and their purpose where they feel they're fulfilled. They've jadilianed with God, and they feel they're on the same page with God on the issue, and they're content. They're not bitter. They're not angry. Because it's very different from somebody who says, I'm single by choice, but she's angry and bitter from the past. Or she's annoyed with your good marriage. So she's always criticizing other people's marriages. so that you can see she's bitter and angry. So it's not single by choice. So you're either single by choice, and you can tell those who are single by choice.
They're happy.
They're happy. They're fulfilling their purpose and callings, and they love your marriage. They'll come in with your kids. They'll love your marriage. They'll speak well of it. They'll be there for you, and they're good. Then there's single by default. Now, another time I did an article to all the people who come to Season Woman, and I said, we're going to discuss single by choice. And all of them, most of them, 90% wrote back and said, Sally, you're always assuming we're single by choice. A lot of us are single by default.
What does that mean?
That means that it's because I haven't found the right person.
Yeah.
I'm here in my career. I'm the CEO of this company. I am a minister in the gospel. I am a media person. Whatever you are, you've come this far. You've done a portion of life. You've never been married before, or you have been either widowed or divorced, and you would want to get back again into the marital place, and you haven't yet found someone for you. So those are the ones who tell me they're single by default. So they taught me that, and I said, oh, okay, so there are people who are single by default.
Yeah.
So we started analyzing that and asking ourselves if it's the first time, and normally it's people who are older. It's not your 21-year-old. It's like your 40s, your 45, your 50s, who'd like to really find someone for companionship. Maybe they have children from the past. They've got children from the past. He has children from the past. So it's people who are looking for companionship towards the twilight years of their life.
Yeah. So what do you look for?
So what we look for now, let me tell you the issues that you need to address as you're looking for a spouse. Number one, we talk of the breadwinner deficiency syndrome.
The breadwinner
deficiency syndrome.
What is that?
And what we're saying is that a lot of women will come to me and say, he's not working, he's not bringing in the bread. I'm the one working, I'm the one providing for everything. It's not because he can't find a job, it's not because he can't find a business to do, he's just downright lazy. He's lazy. He doesn't want to put an effort.
And those men are there.
They're there.
Yeah.
So and he sees I can do it, I'm working hard, I'm bringing in the money. It's probably enough for us as a family, but so he feels it's okay, we can live on mine. And what happens in that situation, the first thing I ask the girl is, are you looking for bread or bacon? Because there's a difference.
Oh.
Because bread.
Honestly, they bring the bacon home and they
bread.
So what's the
Because
difference?
to me, bread is the basics. Now, we don't want to get so worked up about the volume of his income. I mean, if he's bringing in sufficient income, you're pulling in yours, and you're able to handle the school fees, the medical, the living expenses, then let's not get into that attitude of the Joneses. I want to be like the Joneses. So he must bring bacon, not bread. Bacon is more expensive than bread. So there are those girls, he's working hard, he's bringing what he can, honestly, and you're living a moderate life. And it's good to progress higher, but it's good to be fair. Don't bash him and don't criticize him. He's not bringing a lot of money for us to drive this, like in a so-and-so. Like in a so-and-so. He's not bringing the bacon, the high income for us to do holidays. We don't want to do holidays in Nakuru or Mombasa. We want to go abroad. We want to go to Hawaii. So girls, be fair. Be reasonable. The bread is what you want to look at. Is he bringing the bread?
Yes.
And I think sometimes men who don't bring in the bread, out of laziness, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
You need to get to the root cause of it. Why is he being lazy? Why is he watching? It's not even a divine order. Even from scripture, he is the provider.
God called him
to provide for you. And as modern women, of course, we say we also bring in something. We don't want to sit pretty and do nothing. There are years in your life you may sit back, take care of the family, and then get back into working or business. But quite honestly, the man must stand up to be counted in a family and bring in the bread, be able to provide. There are times when he may lose the job or be disabled through sickness or anything. Even those times, then you understand, because he has been productive. But when he's downright lazy, that's a red flag.
Okay.
And you need to find out what's the problem.
Yeah.
What is it? Sometimes it's probably because you're bringing much more. It can happen like that. And he's getting discouraged. So you need to be wise how you handle him, how you carry yourself and your big income, so that you don't end up losing the income at getting a lower job when the income is helping you as a family because you're pricking his ego. You need, as a family, as a born-again couple, to find a way of not emasculating him, of not lording it over him because you have more. There are women with bigger incomes than men, but they handle it so wisely that it's beneficial to the family, but she's not undermining the man in the house. The children don't know mommy is the one who brings the most or whatever it is.
The kids don't even know. We will be coming back with a lot more of that. Allow us to marinate everything you've told us. But I'm loving it so far. Continue letting us know. Are you getting what Sally is saying? Do you have a question? Are you that woman who's making more and you don't know how to handle the man? Sally is here until 1 p.m. she will help us.
Yes, we are answering Bona vice versa.
Yes,
Bona vice versa.
That's good.
Very
gifted.
So much of your feedback today. There's a lady called Martha Minor asks, is age factor something to look out for? Someone else saying, I was just Googling about how to make relationships last. I'm so glad I'm watching the show. Someone says, wow, this is a very good discussion. Some of us went into it and it went south. I still want to learn. So you are locked into the most life-changing show on this side of the Sahara.
Amen.
And Sally is still here with us.
Yes,
Sally,
yes.
Let's go right into it.
Let's go into it, because most of these issues they're raising will come in what I call the 7 types of suitors.
7 types of men.
7 types of men that you will come across as you're seeking God to give you a spouse. And they're also with those who are already married. They'll identify. So each woman watching today will identify one of these characters. So the first one is what I call the wolf in sheep's clothing.
The wolf in sheep's clothing.
Now this is the guy who pretends to be what he is not. Let's say he knows you want a born-again man. So he pretends to be born again. He knows you want a man speaking in tongues. He speaks those deep tongues. Yes, and he knows that you want somebody who loves children, who loves animals, who loves flowers. He has done a check on you.
Background check.
He has done a background check. Due diligence. Yes. So what he has done is he targets you. He knows Kendi likes this, this, and this. So he aligns himself to that, but it's all a pretense. And what happens is he's a sheep in wolf's clothing. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing because he's pretending to be what he's not so he can get you. He's pretending to be what you're looking for. He may have heard you say, I'm looking for a guy who does this, who's interested in business, who does what. So he makes up all that about himself. Now what happens is when you're pretending, the truth must always come out.
At some
point.
The
truth is such an important factor. It will come out. He pretends to be polite to children or animals or even to waiters when you go to a restaurant, but if he has an anger problem, if he has an abusive tendency, if he looks down on people, it will come out. Under pressure, it will come out.
You're saying look for him under pressure.
So when the relationship, when you go under situation, and the longer you date, and the longer you're together, a situation will arise when the pressure will mount, and suddenly that temper will come out, or he'll criticize you, and he's always pretended how nice you are, how he doesn't. He will say something that will reveal his true self.
That will make you.
Or you'll speak to somebody, and you hear him addressing somebody, you're like, oh, I didn't know he was like that. Or he'll be irritated with a child. Children, if you show them you like them, they'll hang on you the whole day. You'll take him to your sister's house. She has kids. The kids will hang around him. He's pretending he loves kids. 3 hours. You just see his irritation. Because kids, if they see you, if you show them you like them, they will hang on you, they'll climb, they'll take your phone, they'll what.
They will push your boundaries.
Will come show at some point.
So that's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And the idea is the minute you feel you haven't quite uncovered him, you're feeling, you're sensing there's something about him that you haven't quite tapped into, extend the courtship. Don't rush into commitment. Extend into the courtship until his real self comes out. And you realize who he is. Even in terms of saying that he's a born again, he's tongue speaking, he likes keshas, he likes church, you'll get tired. You reach a point where you don't want to go to church. The truth will come out.
He likes keshas.
You say he likes keshas, then you find he's sleeping, he's not interested. So the truth always comes out. Just like the other way around, when a girl is pretending to be what she's not to a guy, it comes out.
So extend the longship. That's the trick.
Extend the courtship.
If you're not at peace with this.
If you're not at peace. And it's good to always ask people about somebody. There's no harm in asking, do you know so-and-so? What do you know about him? Where did you work with him? Did you date him? Or for example, do you know his family? Hey, it's good to do a check, not a negative check, but just to know him and understand. Then there is who I call the sofa decor.
The sofa decor.
The sofa decor. Why is he a sofa decor? Because this is the guy I talked about earlier who will lie on the sofa and just decorate that sofa. Now, normally, Kendi, this guy looks good.
He's
made well. So that's the first thing that attracts you because he's good looking, he's well built. So initially you're like, wow, he looks so good.
The girls will like this one.
He's a 6-foot stick of dynamite. He's fantastic. So you go for it. You go for it because you're like, oh, he looks so good. And of course the eye matters, attraction, But you discover he's lazy. He doesn't like working. He doesn't like bringing in the bread. He lies on the sofa. He's the type who tells you when you're coming home, bring me the Gazette, bring me the newspaper, And he can't even go out to the kiosk to buy the newspaper. And he's relying on your money. And what happens with this kind of guys, initially, he thinks he can handle you earning the money and bringing it home. And if you're foolish enough like a woman, you will go along with it. because he's telling you all the right things. By the way, such guys will flatter you. They'll tell you all the right things. If you have kids with them, he will speak nicely. He's a good father because he has all the time to joke and play. You know, you are stressed. The kid comes running, you have a temper. But him, he's lying the whole day. So, of course, he's Father Christmas. He's Father Christmas.
He's Santa Claus.
So, yes, Santa Claus. So, he has all the time with the kids. So, he's a good father inherently. And he speaks well to you. He doesn't insult you, doesn't abuse you initially. But because it's not natural for a man to lie on the sofa while the woman goes hunting and looking for the bread, this lack of fulfillment in him will come out. A resentment will start building. He'll begin to resent you for being the one who works hard, who brings the bread home. And initially, you're not even the one complaining, because you may be the kind of wife who thinks it's okay, which it's not. Yeah. So he becomes resentful. Now, what he will do is, because you are the power woman in the home, you're the one who brings in the bread and the bacon, you're the one making decisions, of course, because you're bringing the money, then you may not even know where to draw the line in terms of decisions. Now, he will find a girl on the side who thinks he's God's best gift. Yeah. He will find somebody who he can give 2K, 1K. And somebody who just adores him to death, who thinks he's loaded because he's using your money to give this girl. He will take your car, and these are real life stories. You know, sometimes I'm not talking from the air. I've had experiences with my friends, my clients. People will come and tell me their stories, and these are profiles of real living people. These are not people from the cartoons or from the air.
So he gets a chick on the side.
He gets a chick on the side who treats him like a king because he comes with your car. He takes your BM or your Shinde. He goes and takes her for a ride. You know, so he's using your resources. And she's excited because he's loaded and he's got all these nice things and he buys her things. And then you leave and take your pearls and go and give her your pearls. So he's using your resources to finance his side deal. Because deep down, he needs to be admired. He needs to be the one providing. It's not divine order for him to be financed by a woman. So the real thing will come out and he'll begin to resent you. And many of them, domestic violence comes right there. Because you're still walking in with your power suit, you've been working the whole day, been in board meetings, you brought in the money, and he needs to discuss with you an investment. And you're the one saying, oh, I've got 50 million in the bank, or you're discussing 5 million to... And the resentment builds up because you're natural. The one. Yes, it's natural. And what happens is he wants to put you in your place. Remember, you're the financier, you are the career person, you are the go-getter, you are the one doing. So he'll begin to resent that strong image because he wants somebody who will look up to him. So he may begin to be abusive, even physically.
And that's his way of exerting that authority.
Yes, or he begins to be abusive verbally to put you in your place. You're not even looking nice in that suit. You think you did that meeting nicely, you didn't do it nicely, or you're sleeping with those men out there. He'll begin to pull you down, to weigh you down, to criticize you.
Wow.
And that's the sofa decor. So you need to be careful. See the red flags from the beginning. Because as you're getting married or settling down with him, you need to ask yourself, is this a situation I want? Is this what I'm going in for? And deal with it. If it's not what you want, don't go into it. And look at the potential dangers of that kind of a situation so that you don't make a mistake and start regretting later on.
Wow.
So that exists and it's there. We also call him the kapapa or maziwa lala because he may want to just lala like maziwa. He doesn't want to do anything the whole day. Then we have the golden heir. Now this is one of my favorite because a lot of my young friends have a situation where they've been married, they've got kids with somebody, then it doesn't work out, or maybe they didn't even marry the guy, but they've got a child or two, or they married, it didn't work out, they left. Young married women, so she's probably like 30, 35, and so she meets, after her first situation goes sour, she meets another guy, and he's younger than her, because young men also these days, they admire older women, and because we don't look as old as we are, so they like the high-flying young woman, she's doing well. And they do, and the new generation are not into, oh, she has kids. They're not into that, by the way. A long time ago, they used to criticize and say, oh, I can't marry a woman with kids. These days, the younger generation couldn't care less. If he likes you, he likes you. And this golden heir genuinely likes this girl. He likes her despite her 2 kids. And he gets into a relationship. He's slightly younger, maybe like 3-5 years younger. He doesn't look younger, so you get away with it when you go out in public.
The social scene.
Yes, he's a nice, well-educated boy, sometimes from a single mother. He could be from a 2 family, but from a single mother. So he's a golden heir of that family. The single mother is saying, my son must get to all the heights, the career heights, do all the MBAs and everything. And here you are with your 2 kids. So the mother starts to hear who her son is dating. And her, having lived life, she looks at this, her son has been cheated. Her son has been given a raw deal. He's done his MBA. He's about to get into the top flying jobs. He's about to marry a young, nice golden girl.
Yeah.
You know, even a golden boy, there's also a golden girl.
Yeah.
From a nice family, who has never been married before, doesn't have kids. So the mother begins to see this older woman with her 2 kids, with her young golden heir.
And she
reacts. She says no.
Unacceptable.
She tries to talk to the son, he's not hearing. He may even move in with this lady and love her kids genuinely. And you know what is so sad about this situation? The father of the kids will always be in the background.
As usual.
Oh yeah, he'll always be in the background, come and see his kids. See his kids. And the law allows him. So he'll always be in the background. So what the mother is feeling is genuine. Like, it may not work. It may not work because the father of these kids will always be in the background. He doesn't want this girl to get a nice young man and settle down. So that's red flag number 1. Secondly, you're going in to finance this family also. See, you found 2 kids. You can't buy bread and the kids don't eat the bread.
So
see, what you're bringing in, the bacon and everything, is for this whole family. So already you are entering into a financial situation on issues that were not yours, first of all. It could work if you feel it's okay and you want to finance this whole family.
But you need to be aware.
You need to be aware of it and count the cost before you step into it. So that golden heir, and sometimes the pressure from the mother or from the family on the boy will weigh on him after some time. Initially, it looks romantic and nice. You're hanging with him and what? Cute, but after a while, he wants a child of his own. You don't want another child.
Because you already have
your 2 or 3. You don't want another one.
Yeah.
And when you've reached in age and career, you don't want to go back to the nappies. He hasn't got kids. His mother wants grandchildren.
Yes.
So here you are telling this golden heir, let's not have any more kids.
Let's raise these ones.
And we finance these ones of my previous. Now that boy is going to start waking up.
Yes.
He's going to wake up because the family, they're constantly, the sisters, the mother, they're always telling him, hey, this is a raw deal.
Yes.
And the more you tell somebody it's a raw deal, he has to be so strong to stand by you.
Pressure.
Yeah. So sometimes I tell girls, think about it carefully, whether it's going to work. The age difference, of course, and everything. So that's the golden heir.
Hold that one.
Tell me about that one. Yes,
as we marinate this 3, we discussed 3, right?
Yeah, we've done 3.
The sofa deco.
The sofa deco, Maziwa Lala.
Yes.
We've done the golden heir. And we've done, have we done a third one?
Yes.
That is the 3rd one.
The first one was the wolf in sheep's clothing.
The wolf in sheep's clothing.
So we've done 3, we have 4 to go.
We have 4.
Woo, we've just discussed 3 kinds of men. We have 4 to go, but let me read some of the feedback just to encourage you. Nancy says, I'm so enlightened by Sally's talk on finding and how to treat a good man. Someone else, this topic is so timely, you guys don't know. I thank God the Spirit of God even charged us to do it. Someone else asked, and you'll answer this later, is there a perfect man? So that one, we'll just put a mental note on that. And just so we can save time, let's go to number 4.
Let's go to number 4.
Yes.
So very quickly, ladies, let's go to the next one. And I hope the gentlemen are also listening.
Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
So the next one is who I call the drama king.
The drama king.
The drama king, otherwise known as a trophy collector. Now, this kind of guy is the one who's a social addict. He's a celeb, either an athlete, and I'm not saying you.
Yeah, people are popping,
You're thinking of them. He's a celeb, he is a public figure, either a politician or somebody in the media, somebody who's out there, an athlete.
Celebs as we know them.
As we know them. Somebody out there who's in the limelight all the time. So he's looking for a trophy on his arm. He's looking for a gorgeous, dead gorgeous girl who has all the dimensions, the looks, the figure, everything. He's not interested in her heart. He's not interested in a relationship.
It's more complimenting
the look. It's more
of
complimenting his look. So he's looking for a trophy. That's what we call it. Like a trophy, like a painting you put in your house.
Like an award.
Yes. So he's looking for that. And some girls fall for it. Because he'll go for that and he'll show you off. He's there to enhance his image and his profile and to show off to his friends, because he looks good, so he also has to compliment himself. So he's not looking for the inside of you. He's not after the character of you. So what happens is not interested in your interests, your career goals, your passions, your interests. So he has you there. He'll criticize your clothing because remember, you're an image, you're a trophy. So he wants you to dress how he wants you to dress. You're his trophy, you're his image. So he wants you to dress so you have no say, you have no... You don't have a say in the relationship, and then you don't have any rapport, any talk. After the image is gone and he shows you off, you have nothing to discuss at home. So there's a lot of pressure on you and the kids to align up and look. Even the kids dress them like this, they must look up like this, cut her hair, plait her hair. So it's pressure and it's not a real relationship because it's for image only. Beware of such a person. Discover him. Realize, is he asking me about me? Are we having interaction? Are we having a relationship? Or am I just there for functions? And is he dictating what I do and how I live?
So do you check on how you relate when no one is looking?
That's right, because what happens is when you're in public, because in public he may treat you very well and speak of you very well, because part of the image. But when you're behind closed doors, how do you relate? Do you have conversations? Do you have interest? How does he treat you? Is he interested in you as a person? And do you interact and have a real, genuine relationship? Because the relationship must be genuine. You're talking, you're enhancing one another, you're doing things that interest each other. Or are you just cheering his career and his ambitions, and you have none of your own, so you have to line up and stay there, and later on girls regret, because you don't look like that all your life. You start aging, you start getting weighty, so you're not that Miss Kenya forever. You begin to look normal, which is beautiful, aging gracefully, and he'll begin to look for a younger version of you
to sustain
that image, and it's very dangerous. So you need to be careful, girls, about going there. So you need to.
There's a question I would like to ask. Like, there are people who, when they got married, they were no one. They were no one. Then later on in their lives, that's when they become prime people in their careers.
And they reject the woman they married. You know, when you marry at the beginning with a person you love, you genuinely love her, you didn't go for the looks first. You love each other, you get on, you've grown up together. Then one person rises, and he becomes superstar. Then he begins to replace you with an image, with a trophy that suits his new image. And even some men get educated. I remember a long time ago in the airlift, when men went abroad to do the first airlift in America to study. This was like 50 years ago, And they went there, and they left nice wives who were not maybe as educated, because we're all on the same level. When they got there, they got very educated. They came back, and they all came back with new wives. They all came back with new, posh, educated wives, the ones that fitted the bill. So you need to look out for that, girls. You need to look out for what is he going for. Is it you, genuinely you, or is it how you look, you as a trophy? So be careful. Who is he looking for, you or what you represent? Now then there's a gold getter. I don't even call him a gold digger, because a gold digger exerts energy and effort to dig for the gold. See, there's effort there. The gold getter doesn't even want to dig. He just wants to get it. So he does a profile on you, he does a background check, and he sees you're from a well-managed family, or you already have money of your own. So he says, I'm locking into this situation because I have no plan of digging for anything or working or exerting myself. A free ticket for life. So he says to himself, the father-in-law will finance every transaction I bring. See, the father-in-law will finance this, the parents-in-law will finance this, the mother-in-law. So he looks at that family background and says, I'm checks this. You guys, he's not interested in you, he's just seen this is a child of so-and-so.
This is my opportunity now.
My opportunity to make it. Now, contrary to what a lot of young men think, a lot of fathers-in-law are not foolish. They've been there, done that, they've lived life, they have experience and wisdom.
They can
and they'll watch. Sometimes they may even discourage the daughter, like, what else do you have in common? What is it? This man. But the girl, you know how we're stubborn? You say, Daddy, I want to marry him, he's the one for me. And he's like, okay, sweetie, I love you, you marry this guy. Then you go on, and this guy now starts waiting for the deal from the father-in-law. By the way, he behaves fantastic. The in-laws love him. Everybody thinks he's so good, he's so gentle and kind and well-behaved. He'll be at functions. By the way, he'll spend Christmas with you and not with his folks, So that's the first red flag. He'll always want to spend Christmas with your
family.
At your family, where the resources and money are. Instead of the way it should be, quite honestly. Either have turns, or he takes you to his family, even if they are in the village, wherever they are. Be proud of his background. So he aligns up and he looks very solid and very well spoken and everything. So he starts waiting for the father-in-law to hook him up, to do deals and to get it easy. Then it doesn't come forth. And these are real life situations. When it doesn't come forth because either the parents-in-law are wiser than that and they're testing him, he starts getting resentful. Remember, you are at his ticket to life. So this ticket is not paying the bill. So he becomes resentful, he starts mistreating you, mishandling you. And he can even get another deal on the side, start handling other people on the side, having a girlfriend, because you're not fulfilling. And that's when it goes sour. And sometimes we ask ourselves, is it a curse sometimes to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth as a woman? Because sometimes you may be born from a very privileged background, very wealthy, and getting a man who will be secure enough to love you for you, not for what you're born with or what you represent or the inheritance that's coming to you is very difficult. So there's always that issue women grapple with when they're born in privileged families. Getting a man who is strong enough and loves you enough and secure enough
He's
to say, I may not have what you have or what your family has, but I love you and we can make this work. And he comes, and there's some who do that, and they come out okay.
Fantastic.
Then we look at the next guy, and this is the guy who is the baggage wagon.
The baggage wagon.
Yeah, baggage wagon. Now remember, we're not bashing the man, and we're not disrespecting men. We're just saying what he comes with. It's a situation of a man who's been married before or widowed. So he comes with children and a family and an ex. There's either a divorcee or there's a widowed memory, a memory of a wife who's died.
Let's not know the memory.
The memory can be
real.
Heavier than the ex. You know, the ex is alive and is out there, and you can deal with the ex. Sometimes a memory is so, because you know you can't have an attitude towards a memory. If his wife had died, you can't start criticizing her.
And removing all the pictures from the wall.
Exactly. You see, maybe he's still having a hold on that memory. And you have to be sensitive. You don't want to criticize. You look bad when you start getting an attitude of feeling jealous of a memory. You know, with an ex, you can vent.
Do a tantrum.
You can do a tantrum and vent. But with the memory, you have to respect it. His children, her children are there. So I ask women, are you ready to be Mama Cinderella?
What is Mama Cinderella?
Mama Cinderella is now the stepmother who finds the two Cinderellas there already. Now, those children of this man, their mother is gone, and you're stepping into that shoe of Mama Cinderella. Can you handle these kids, first of all? Are your shoes big enough to fit into their mother's shoes? Count the cost before you enter. Look at it carefully. The financial implications. You've got your assets, he's got his. What are you going to finance in that family? Are you prepared? There's nothing wrong with financing that family. You share the sources. But also, are you ready to do that? Don't get into it and then start getting resentful.
The
and
willingness
also,
and the
can you handle those kids? Can you raise them like your own? Because you don't want to start mistreating them the way Cinderella was mistreated by a stepmother. You don't want also to sort of start resenting. He has in-laws. The ex, because these children have shoshos, grandparents who they're in their lives. So you're dealing with his in-laws from the other side. Are you ready for that? As such as they may not accept you. And then the question is, will you have kids with him as well? You count the cost. How many has he got? Are you willing to have one together? Are you going to manage as a family? Is this what you want? Don't have a child just to compete. So that even me, I must have mine. If it's not necessary, it's not necessary. But do you want a child of your own? So don't enter that if you know you want your own kids and he doesn't want any more. Or you're just going to add them, they become 7, and you can't handle 7. So that's a guy who comes with baggage, the memory, the ex, whether she's dead or alive, and the children. Are you ready to handle? Remember, there can come conflict between his kids and yourself, or his kids and your kids. Sometimes you may come with kids. So the question is, how are you going to resolve the conflict? Boundaries. We're going to talk of solutions at the end. But that's an issue to look out for. So I'll look at the last one. And this is the knight in shining armor. This is what we all go for. He looks perfect. He's not a dealer, he's not a kadil, he's not a kapapa, he's not a maziwalala, he's not a gold getter. He's solid, he's together, you're in love, and you get on, and he's a provider, and he's everything. But sometimes even that knight in shining armor has something. Sometimes they're too good to be true. And when the deal is too good, look twice. Because sometimes it's too well packaged in every aspect of the word. And you need to look, what is he hiding? What is he running away from? Because sometimes when somebody is too good, we all have issues and weaknesses and flaws. But when somebody looks too perfect, you're like, come on, nobody's perfect. Just check. Is it a past that he's covering up that hurt him so deeply, and he's packaged himself into this perfect person?
He's metamorphosized.
Yes, he wants to be everything to everybody. He's good to your mother, he's good to your father, he's good to your sisters, he's good to everybody. He wants to go to every function. He sort of like wants to be everybody to everybody. He's generous, he wants to donate here. Then you're like, come on, it's too much. He needs to balance. He needs to step down a notch and say, what are the priorities? This is the marriage now, we're together. Let's agree where the boundaries, where do we draw the line into how much you give of yourself? Because he might be so giving of himself to the world that he's not there for you. That is not there for the family. And yet everybody out there says he's fantastic. I have a friend who but he's so fantastic. He's great.
Everyone loves him.
He's the MC everywhere. He carries. Then she's like, So he's everything to all of you.
What about
but
you?
Not to us in the home. Because he's trying to spread himself too thin. So you need to look out for that. So to the question of like, is there a perfect man?
We'll be answering that, Sally. We'll have a small music break, and then we'll be answering that. But I'm told all the men in the studio are saying, no, do one for women.
We will look at the 7 types of women.
Oh, high five. Don't you switch off our microphones, by the way. Like
Kendi, before I give this one to you, I'm going to read a couple of SMSs then throw it over to you guys. There is Doris, and I said, the topic is really she's digging this one. Shoikoju, she's from Mombasa. Then there's another lady, my husband beats me up, abuses me, calls me all sorts of names. I works at a petrol station as an, okay, watch and case of details. But I met him before he was married. And he had a wife who died 3 years after the marriage and left him with a baby boy. Our life is as hell. I don't know what to do. Fed up with the guy. Then there is another one, anasema, hi, the show is really reaching me well at Ndenderu. Mwambie Sally afanye total exploitation ya hiyo area ameniguza, because it's wise for us who are yet to marry. I believe in the saying knowledge is power. Then I'm gonna read one more. Hi Tukuza, I lost my job 6 months ago. My wife has been providing for us for about 4 months, but of late she's been clubbing with her friends every weekend and even spending nights out like last Tuesday and yesterday. All this after I paid her college fees and found her a job. This is stone.
Okay, let's start with that one.
Let's start with that one, because as much as we're not addressing the women today, because the flip side is the 7 types of women and their weaknesses. Today we're dealing with the men, but let me address that because it's serious. As women, even if we're earning more, and you're the one at that time with a better job and the income bringing,
from the situation is the guy who used to earn more than
before.
Yes, then her career just blossomed.
And this is what we need to be sensitive to, because tables do turn. We're not talking of a situation where he used to provide and then he's gone through a bad patch. Those are acceptable. Nobody has a good day all throughout. Sometimes the tables turn and you're the one earning, he's the one not earning. And we need to be sensitive that when it's your turn, when you're the one bringing in, and even if he has never worked or anything, you need to be sensitive. If you want this marriage to work, you need to not lord it over him and start like this lady who's going out and clubbing. You must remember your role as a wife, your role as a mother. You must not emasculate him and disrespect him. At the beginning of the show, we said we're not bashing the men. These are our brothers, our fathers, our sons. We're speaking on the issues, the weaknesses that need to be dealt with. So she needs to shape up. She needs to respect her husband. She needs to know, as he has said, that there's a time he helped her to get to where she's gotten to. And tables do turn. I've heard of cases where the wife did this, she was showing off for him, really criticizing him and putting him down, and then later tables turned. He got the high-flying job, he was the income bringer, and she was down there. You have to be sensitive and godly about these things. So that's what I would say to that lady who's behaving like that.
Yeah, and there was a pastor, Sally.
The pastor, yes. Now, another mistake.
The wife. Remember that one?
Yeah. I deal a lot with people from the church, married couples who are also godly and born again. And what happens is there's a misconception that because the person is born again, or you're both born again, you'll not have marital problems. And this is a misconception. Or when you're looking for a spouse, you look for a man who's born again. You don't look at anything else. As long as he's born again, that's all. That's a misconception. Because we're all in the making, Kendi. We're all in the making of God. He's pruning us, he's purging us, he's molding our characters. We all have weaknesses as we go along, born again or not. And what happens is, as you get married to that born-again man, or you start targeting him, he has his weaknesses, he has issues, and so do you. So you must also look at character, because there are some men of God who also don't work. He's not in full-time ministry, so he doesn't need to be lying around and saying he's going to pray for people the whole day or reading the Bible the whole day. Even Moses came down from the mountain.
For crying out loud.
He had to work. You know, he needs to be practical.
Yes.
He needs to provide for his family. Yes. The Bible requires that. Yes. And if the ministry gets so big and so blessed financially that he doesn't need to go to work every day because he's so busy in the ministry, then it makes sense. But before that, we need to stop that nonsense of like, oh, I'm praying the whole day, or I'm ministering for the whole day. You're not. You know, go and provide for your family. Let the wife bring something, you bring something, and balance it out. Yeah.
So what do you tell the lady who's being the wife who's being battered?
Yes.
The pastor's wife.
Yes.
Because that's delicate.
And that's the most sensitive, because this issue was addressed some time back. We were attending a conference in Joburg, and the issue came with about who ministers to the pastors and their wives.
Yes.
And I believe in this town, I'm not qualified to go there, because pastors and men of God are who I submit to. So I'm not yet, I don't believe God has given me the position to start talking to them about their marriages, because I honor and respect them greatly. But there are ministers and people of God out there who do have that calling to minister to pastors and their wives and marriages. And they're addressing it. People like Reverend Judy Bogwa, people like Pastor Kathy Kuna. They are those who are called in those spheres. They have that grace.
Yeah.
And they are pastors themselves, and they are men of God themselves, so they can speak to their fellow men of God. But suffice to say, it's a real problem. It's happening. I have cases in my office when the clients come, and they are born-again pastors and men of God and wives who are saying this is how they're being handled and this is how they're being mistreated. So it's an issue that needs to be addressed by the right people with the right anointing and call for it.
Yeah.
But it is happening. Now, very quickly, just saying that after saying the 7 suitors, the 7 types of men that you meet out there, that you need to look out for those weaknesses I've talked about, there are solutions. I don't want to leave you without solutions.
Yeah.
Just because he's
because there's an SMS imekuja, I'm married to a maziwa lala.
What do I do? Thank you. Thank
Is
you.
there another one?
Because I said at the beginning that I'm not to give you just the negatives without solutions. I'm for relationships. I'm what can work. And I don't believe there's anything that is so bad that you can't patch it up. Sometimes there is such severe domestic violence that honestly you can't encourage them to stay together. There's a dysfunction. Somebody is mentally unwell. There's something wrong with the way you're handling each other. So really, you're better off far apart. But in other cases, it can be dealt with. Let's take the maziwalala, for example.
One solution, then we have a call.
Yes, the maziwalala, for example, you need to address him. I've addressed a couple. I've called a couple together and I said, do you want your sons to see you lying on the sofa the whole day? Do you want your sons to grow up thinking men are not supposed to work and it's the ladies who bring in the money? Do you want your daughters to grow up thinking that they need to look after men? They're the ones to provide for men? That's a distorted view even biblically. So one man told me, no, I don't want that. Then why aren't you working? You know, so you can address these issues through counseling and good Christian counseling. And if they really love the family and they love the woman, because sometimes they really genuinely love each other, they can find solutions through counseling and ministration and things like that. And you find a balance and encourage him. Sometimes he's so downtrodden and he has such low self-esteem, but he's not showing you. That's what needs to be addressed. He's feeling insecure because he didn't have a good job at the beginning or he was rejected. You need to help him through that. Get men who can help him get there, because sometimes you don't want to be the one guiding your man through those. Get him mentors and men who introduce him to other men who can walk him through the journey.
But
of
not obviously.
Not obviously, with a lot of wisdom.
No, you go
with a lot of wisdom. Men in the church who can walk with him and help him to be the man he was born to be. The provider, the breadwinner.
And escape calamity.
That's the song. That's the line.
The chorus.
Fantastic.
Take an opportunity and do it. Take an opportunity
and avoid calamity.
That's right.
Wow, let me read some feedback here. Someone says, I lost this, she lives, I don't know where she lives, but she says she's lost a signal. Katie, and please do something. I don't want to miss this show. You can catch it on YouTube, but we'll upload it for you. Do not worry.
Immediately.
Yes, someone says, I'm watching from Likoni. That's how someone is watching you from. This was a blessing. I'm loving the advice. Thank you for the show. Fantastic topic, great guest. All that is happening, but we need to wind up properly.
We need to wind up now, Kendi.
Yes.
So, as we said, remember, ladies, it's not about bashing the men.
Yes.
And in fact, I told you the other day that I also have a teaching on the 7 types of women.
Which will be
because girls were also as guilty as the men.
There
are those girls who just want to milk the guys. They don't want to work. They want to just hang on them. They're capable of working and doing business. You just want to drain him. So your motives are wrong in marrying this guy. There are other girls who actually target. I was told there are girls who actually read the newspapers to see advertisements of women that have died.
Are you serious?
Somebody told me, they go through the what is that page called? Obituaries. And they check to see this woman died, and she lives behind a man. He works with PwC, works where? He's 35 or he's 40, he leaves 1 kid or 2 kids. She zeroes in at the Mashakaya. She starts going, see, the Mashakayas are there in the program. In the newspapers. And Mashakayas, you don't go by invitation. There are women who do that, mercenaries who do that. They enter your life for the wrong reasons, just to milk you, to drain you.
They go to the Mashakaya and do what?
And of course, you're there busy. You know, in the Mashakaya, you don't know who's the relative and who is the friend. Because there are no invitation cards. So they're washing dishes there. They're being the very resourceful, and women, you know how older women are like, that girl is very hardworking. Maybe Maina needs to look at that girl.
Later on.
And then she even can say she was a friend of the dead. Remember, the lady who is dead cannot say who was her friend, who was not her friend. There's even a movie like that I saw. So she'll say, yes, I was Laura's friend. Yes, she was a very good friend. We were in art school. We used to keep it together. Oh, I'm so sorry. She's done a CV on all of you. She's done a study. So the people are saying how you start visiting the family, you start visiting the guy, you go to his workplace, at you are here. Oh, I'm so sorry. She was a very good. Toby, you're very good. Before you know it, she's into that man's life. Those are mercenary women. She's only there. She didn't know him from Adam, but she read you in the newspapers. So guys, be encouraged. We're not just picking on you. Today was just for you guys, but there is the other flip of the coin. There are women who are crooked. They sleep on the sofa. They are gold diggers and getters. They want their golden heirs. There's all that. There is those situations. Wow. So very quickly, let's say we've dealt with.
There was one guy you want to talk about.
The deal guy.
The dealer.
The kadil. Okay, I talked about the sofa decor, the maziwalala. Now there's one who refuses to work and doesn't even pretend. That's the one I discussed. Then in that same situation, there's a guy who is capable of working and does seem to be trying, but it's not a formal employment or formal business. It's always a kadil. He tells you, babe, I'm about to close this kadil. I'm meeting so-and-so at 11. In fact, I have to hurry up. Please give me my dinner. I meet a kadil. It's coming through. Then these two deals never come through. Year in, year out, you're slogging, you're providing, and his two deals never come through because he's always in a deal.
Is he really working?
Now, what it is he doesn't want, two deals are easier. If you want to do a quick deal, you don't want the day-to-day hard work.
You don't want an
address or being a businessman, because it's okay if you don't want to be employed. There are people without the anointing for employment. You can be a businessman, but it requires work and discipline and consistency. He just wants to get up 1 hour a day and do a deal. And it's always the $1 million breaker. The one that will break you through and you fly as a family. So as a wife, every month you're like, okay, sweetie, you have a deal. Okay, I'm praying for you. I'm travailing in the spirit. It's gonna come through. And here you are travailing for this guy for the deal to come through. The deal never goes through. 5 years down the line, you smell the coffee and you wake up like, guy, get a job. Let's roast maize. Let's do maca. Let's do something tangible. So beware of those papa deals. And even women have that. There's women who are always, I'm going to get this breakthrough. I'm going to do my pastor said. Then there's also that situation, Kendi, of where they say, I was prophesied that's going to happen, so I'm not working right now because I was told the heavens would open and I'm going to break through in this area. Now, there's always order to prophecy. There's order and there's divine order. And we need to be very careful not to manipulate our husbands and men about what you are told in church. I've quit my job. The pastor said I quit my job. I stay at home and I just pray for people. That's a lie of the devil. So we need to be careful. Now, very quickly. So we're talking about the red flags. When you're looking out for the red flags. What makes you not see those red flags? The temper in the guy, the laziness in the guy. You need to see those red flags. Sometimes we're so blurred. We see them as pink, not red, because you're so in love with this guy. He's looking good. Everybody thinks you've caught the catch, and they're telling you, wow, finally, or you're so desperate to settle down. So you end up seeing the red flags as pink. So you're blurred. Your vision is blurred. Then there's the spice girls, your friends, your women friends. You need to put them in perspective where your relationship is concerned. You don't want them to project too much advice, too much criticism, so much advice, and they make you make a decision you otherwise would not have made because you stayed too long. You're 45. Why are you even showing off? Why are you even beginning to say you don't want this guy? Just marry him. You sort out issues later. So you need to be careful about that. And then the other thing is that we talked about the trophy. Be careful you're not a trophy. And the other thing is sometimes the relationship is so dysfunctional that you're sacrificing so much domestic violence. There's so much wrong in that relationship. You need to be careful. You need to go to counselors, go to your pastors, look at it, and be careful about it. And then I'm coming to solutions in a minute. And the other thing you need to look at is the in-laws. Is he able to balance you with his in-laws? Sometimes the guys have so much pressure from the family, and sometimes they're torn in between. He needs to be so strong, so grounded in God, and so mature and secure to be able to balance you with his family when there's a crisis where he needs to balance you both without losing either, because you don't want him to choose you over his family, and family is important, key, and he'll one day hate you for it anyway. And the other thing is, can you be alone and not lonely? Because sometimes we're running away from our own loneliness. You're running away from past pain. You were so wounded in a previous relationship. You've closed your eyes and you're just wanting to throw yourself into a new one before you've healed You haven't healed from the past one. You need to heal from past relationships before you enter into a new one. Because you will project the pain from the past and you bring it into your new relationship. So that's important.
And Sally, don't forget to encourage the married women who have identified their husbands.
Yes.
In those 7.
Yes.
So how do I live with my sofa deco? How do I live with my maziwa lala? What do I do with that?
That's what I'm coming to, Kendi. Because I said at the beginning, I love relationships. I'm pro-relationship. I'm pro-marriage. I look at the bright side. Even if he's a sofa deco, he's like a deal maker, he must have qualities. The reason you're with him in the first place, there is something you saw about him. So it's not all bad. This is just a weak area. And the question is, you weigh it out. There's an 80-20 rule we hear about. You weigh it out and you say, what percentage of this man is so solid and so good otherwise? Like what I said, he loves you, he treats you well, he loves the kids, your family and everything. He's a solid, good man. And yet it's just this issue of not bringing in the bread. Surely that issue can be sorted. Ask him the relevant questions, go for counseling, jadiliana, reason out with him. You know, even the Bible says, God says, come we reason together. So reason together with him. And then the other one in terms of the gold getter. I've dealt, and all these situations we've dealt with solutions that have worked.
Yes.
We've actually looked at solutions with couples and they've worked. Where I sat the couple down and I said, you married her, not her family. Now this situation has come where you are hoping the family would be the one to break you through. Now you're born again, surely both of you. You know God is our source. Your source is not your father-in-law or the family with the loadedness. Even work in a way that impresses them. You've got resources, you've got skills, you've got talents, you've got what it takes. If anything, ask for introductions. There's nothing wrong with getting introduced. If you need to access a particular company, a particular place, and you need to be directed there, go ahead and ask for it politely. But don't go out there that you need to be spoon-fed by the family for everything. And then when we come to the golden heir, all I said, count the cost. Can he survive it? Ask him the questions from the beginning. This is my situation. I've got my 2 kids. I've been married before. The father of my kids still comes round. He'll always be in their lives. Can you handle this? Can your family handle this? Because you count the cost beforehand and you look at it. So the idea is not to throw away the relationship. It's to look for solutions in that situation and see what can we be cancelled through. What can we jadiliana and talk about and make it work at the end of the day. So that at the end of the day, you want to salvage that relationship. If you're already in a relationship where you've identified one of these guys, don't throw it away. There is so much more about that man that you can tap into it. Even the wolf in sheep's clothing. Just let his true self come out. Because, you know, some people want, you know, a ready-made man. There's no ready-made man. Somebody, even when you see a well put together man, he's so good. There's a woman behind the scenes who worked with him. They walked together, and he's who he is. Even a woman.
How to wear the shirts and the trousers.
Exactly. And they're the other way around. There are men who work on us. I'm not the woman I used to be before my husband met me. He's worked on me. We work together, and today somebody may want me because they see the finished product. And as I said, we're still in the making. Nobody's perfect. So work at healing your relationships. Go for counseling. Go for godly counsel with mature people who can speak into your lives, who can give you solutions. All these men I've talked about are our brothers, they're our uncles, they're our sons, and they're not to be thrown away.
Let me give you a good one as we close.
And honored and helped.
Show imeshika vinoma, Frederick from Meru. I guess it's not too late. I'm dating and I'm a father of one. Thank you for the topic. It will help me make a good decision.
Excellent. That's why we're on air for such feedback. Sally, I must thank you.
Thank you very much, Kendi.
Thanks you, Kroba.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. You're
awesome.
a good team.
I told you you love her.
It's my pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much.
As long as people are inspired and helped, it's my pleasure.
So can guys write to you? Don't give an email?
Yes, they can reach me on mahihusally@yahoo.com.
mahihusally@yahoo.com.
I do a lot of counseling, mentoring. We talk with couples. I encourage the reconciliation and building of the relationship. Yes, I do. Yes.
Fantastic. mahihusally@yahoo.com. That is our email address. Wow, this was quite the show. We have inspired, we have refreshed, we have connected. That's what Tukuza is all about. See you guys next Sunday. God bless you. We love you for watching.